mentioned. I work with OSGI in Budapest, and it's a pleasure to be here because I haven't been in the Open Society for very long. Before I joined the Open Society, I was working with a legal aid organization. Many of the things that have been discussed throughout this session are things that I have been able to relate to previously. And so the whole idea of legal clinics is something that I'm also learning a lot about. And therefore, what I'm going to share with you is basically issues that I have been able to look at since I joined OSGI while doing research on legal clinics. And because one of the first things that I had to do on joining OSGI was that I had to identify clinics and associations in terms of thematic areas by the Open Society and what they have been able to do. And as a result, I also got an opportunity to look at associations in some parts of the world and what they have done. Yes, so sorry, as I was saying, so I've had an opportunity to examine some different jurisdictions where associations have been employed and of what benefit they are. And as Bruce mentioned, there are quite a number of countries that have come up with different models of associations, basically that have been able to benefit law clinics in those countries. We can spend a whole 2 days elaborating on all these examples, but I just chose 3 examples, which I thought would serve as good examples and at least start off a discussion on associations and associations that you are going to form and benefit from in the long run. Therefore, this presentation is a very brief look at what initiatives have been carried out by associations in different parts of the world for law clinics, and importantly for the general contribution to the clinical legal education movement. The first example I will look at, and has been mentioned by Bruce, is Nigeria. I hope you can see the print. It's a bit small. But Nigeria has an association known as NULAI, and it's an association that works very closely with the Open Society Justice Initiative. It was established in 2003 with the general aims that associations usually have when they set up such associations. For example, the promotion of CLE, legal aid reform, legal education reform, legal and access to justice, development of future public interest lawyers. It has 14 affiliated law clinics, all very vibrant and very active in their contribution towards strengthening the association. And they do a whole range of activities, including organizing, they organize such opportunities, such sessions where law clinics, law professors, supervisors are able to benefit from being in such an association. So lawyering skills, teaching methods, as we have learned from yesterday, assessment methods, supervision techniques, preparation, negotiation and mediation skills, that's ADR, case analysis, trial preparations and planning, and other issues. But what is most interesting about this association, for example, are some of the initiatives, because as we think about the association that you're going to establish, we have to have in mind what benefits as such, what kind of creativity can you come up with that will make your association very unique to yourselves, benefit you, and also be able to market it as a world-class association of some sort. Nigeria, for example, have been able to develop a curriculum for Nigerian universities, which is very important in strengthening their aim of legal education reform. They have also initiated a drafting of a bit more centered kind of curriculum. They have a big problem with pretrial detention in Nigeria. It's a big issue. And therefore, seeing that need, they have been able to try and draft a curriculum that will be used by law clinics. And I did a small survey on what benefit those law clinics have had towards reduction of pretrial detention issues. And it's almost phenomenal, the amount of work that law clinics have been able to do to fill in that particular problem. In addition to that, they do quite a bit of publication. You have the journal, which is very important. It's very informative in terms of basically guiding a discussion around reforms and around benefits of law clinics for a country, for access to justice and for social justice issues. So that's the first example that I was able to look at. The next example I was able to look at briefly was Poland, also with a very unique history. Its association is known as the Legal Clinics Foundation. It's also pretty young. It started operating in 2002, and goals are almost similar to the others. It has about 25 affiliate members, all very active towards the promotion of the association. And what is very unique, and I think that is something that we've been able to discuss, and it's good we have at least representation from both university-based and non-university-based law clinics, is that even as you strengthen university law clinics, you also need to create avenues for interaction at a national level with some of these very important institutions on access to justice and on legal reform. And this is something that the association in Poland has been able to do in a very unique and in a very effective way. So they've been able to do collaborations with the Bar Council. As has been discussed, there are serious issues between a sort of a clash between the legal aid document that you have and the fact that you have an advocates act that stipulates that only advocates can go to court. So these are conversations that have to be carried out at that level, where if possible legislative reform can be proposed so that you can synchronize the Advocates Act and these very important documents that you have been able, that you've discussed since morning. And then you have other offices that the association there has also been able to look at. The Ombudsman Office, which is also a very important office in terms of human rights issues. They've also undertaken a publication of a clinical manual, as well as a legal clinics journal. So that's the second jurisdiction I looked at and felt was quite unique in what it did. A third one that Bruce also mentioned is South Africa, and the organization is called OLI. Also works very closely with the Open Society Justice Initiative. It's a bit fairly old. The unique thing about this association, apart from the background that we probably know about South Africa, its history with apartheid and all that, is that some of the law clinics are really old, way older than 1982. And they already had quite established, especially the white-owned universities, had quite established law clinics. So established were the law clinics that it brought into question the whole reason why do they really need an association when the individual law clinics are already well developed. Yet, they discussed and decided that they actually did need to form an association to be able to highlight the issues at a national level and a concerted discussion on issues affecting law clinics in general. So it has about 19 members affiliated to it. A broad range of initiatives have come about as a result of the association. As you can see, they organize a lot of law conferences, very many law conferences on the African continent, on matters touching on clinical legal education and health in South Africa. So they hold colloquia and conferences a lot. In addition to that, they have established an Access to Justice program. Basically, they came in to feel a need, and that's exactly what your law clinics have come in. You realize there's a problem with poor clients accessing justice in different because few lawyers, not enough resources to be able to cater for the poor and marginalized clients. And therefore, you came in to feel that need. The same thing with the association. It comes up with initiatives to enhance access to justice collaboration, especially for historically advantaged universities, because of course, even as you start out, some of the universities, like I had in the morning, already has a very good budget. I had, I think, 40 million or something, while others are down there. So how do you bring them all together to be able to benefit from and improve themselves? Yeah, you have to have a mechanism of building each other up, because you're all working towards a similar cause, yeah, which is access to justice and to address social justice concerns. And therefore, initially when most of the very old law clinics, which were white dominated, were up here, there was a need to bring down the black and new coming universities, which also had law clinics, to also come up and improve their standards to fit at the same level and provide the same quality, the same professionalism, the same standards of legal aid, legal representation, and advice. And they, as well, they also carry out a very important responsibility that we've talked about. We've talked about accountability and what accountability means in terms of money. They also do a very important activity, which basically they look at the state of clinical legal education and access to justice. They sort of measure the progress that they have made, which maybe individual law clinics might not have the capacity to do. But then at an association level, they're able to see during this particular period, maybe over the past 1 or 2 years, we've been able to handle this amount of clients. We've been able to deal with this kind of cases with these results. And in our opinion, therefore, the level of access to justice has improved to this extent. So they actually come up with a very elaborate, very graphical, statistical, social science-based analysis of the state of access to justice within a country, which in my opinion is a very innovative initiative carried out by the association. Yeah, so basically that is it. As has been discussed, as much as we're getting these examples, and there are very many, and you'll be exposed to even more examples of similar institutions, of similar organizations, many of these initiatives are very contextual, and they're very specific in light of the legal aid concerns within the country, the social justice, the challenges and the needs that you face. And therefore, even as you discuss, even as you look at many other examples of associations, at the back of your mind, you keep asking yourselves, what challenges do we have as clinics, as has been discussed? What challenges are we likely to have as an association? And how can we turn that paper upside down and make those challenges into actually opportunities that can be able to benefit? I think one very important benefit of discussing challenges at the very initial is the fact that from the onset you already know that you have challenges. And therefore with challenges, then you know whether some of them you can avoid, or even those that you cannot avoid, because some challenges are almost impossible to avoid. How can you face them? How can you be prepared to face them? So that was my brief presentation. All the best with a brilliant idea of coming up with an association, and I'm very happy to have learned quite a bit over the past 2 days about role playing. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're going to take a 15-minute break, and then our university partners will come back in. Our non-university partners, you're welcome to be here if you like. Otherwise, you don't have to be, but if you want to see the process going forward of us going through the association statutes and line by line doing legal drafting, which is a thrill. It really is a thrill for me. You're very much welcome to. Remember yesterday we did give you homework, and the homework is now really going to be applied as we're going to go through line by line and see what you say. So we're going to take a 15-minute break. We need a timekeeper. So anybody want to volunteer to be our timekeeper today? Anybody want to volunteer to be our timekeeper today?
From campus.
Huh?
From campus.
From campus?
Right.
Okay, right, okay, that's okay, okay, that's right. So who can be our timekeeper? Perfect, okay. 15 minutes by my watch, which means 10 till, okay? 10 till, everybody back in.
Jam 4 sudah dimulai di Bapak.